Kochi presents a unique split personality. On one side, it's the commercial engine of Kerala, driven by trade and industry. On the other, it's a centuries-old port city, dense with colonial history. If you look up travel guides, they will hand you a sprawling 4-week itinerary. But as a business traveler, you likely have 48 hours and a packed meeting schedule. This creates immediate friction. You need to be sharp for your boardroom presentations, but you also don't want to fly halfway across the world only to see the inside of a hotel. To solve this, we have to look at the standard tourist recommendations through a strict return on investment analysis. Navigating this city successfully means treating every cultural excursion not as a vacation, but as a calculated expenditure of your very limited time and physical stamina. The challenge starts with the city's geography. The modern business hotels and corporate offices are concentrated in Ernakulam, while the historical sites sit across the water in Fort Kochi. This map shows the physical separation between the two zones. Because of this layout, you have to budget significant time and energy just to cross the water. Add to this transit route a tropical monsoon climate. For a large portion of the year, particularly from June to September, you're navigating intense heat, heavy humidity, and sudden downpours. Taking a crowded ferry across the harbor during a monsoon storm is a fast way to drain the reserves you need for a high-stakes negotiation. Because your physical stamina has a hard cap, forcing a complex sightseeing detour today puts tomorrow's professional performance directly at risk. Before you even land, you face a space constraint. Every inch of your carry-on dedicated to tropical survival gear is an inch taken away from presentation materials or formal wear. But certain items are non-negotiable. You must pack lightweight, highly breathable clothing, along with strong insect repellent to manage the local mosquito population. If you are traveling between June and September, you have to account for the heavy rains. A standard wool suit will absorb water instantly, so a packable raincoat or umbrella is mandatory. You also need to carve out room for local electrical adapters and a reliable supply of over-the-counter medications for headaches or allergies. Prioritizing these climate-specific items over extra business shoes or ties is the baseline requirement just to keep yourself functioning in the environment. If your schedule is severely compressed, leaving you with just 1 or 2 hours of free time, you are locked into the Ernakulam commercial zone. Your optimal move here is completely ignoring the tourist sites and focusing on hyper-local culinary exploration, often available right outside your hotel doors. Look specifically for regional staples: appam, a type of rice pancake, traditional Kerala fish curry, and steamed rice cakes known as idli. This strategy delivers immediate cultural immersion through local flavors, but it requires zero transit time and zero exposure to the elements. For the traveler with almost no free time, a local meal guarantees you experience the region while remaining fully rested for your professional obligations. For those who have secured a full free afternoon, the Fort Kochi neighborhood becomes a feasible, moderate-friction, high-reward option. The payoff here is direct access to centuries of architectural history. The Mattancherry Palace showcases the exact visual convergence of colonial influences in Kerala. A short walk away is the Santa Cruz Basilica, anchoring the historical district with its distinct twin steeples. You can cap the afternoon by watching the Chinese fishing nets operate along the coastline, a low-energy observation activity that requires very little walking. But the physical cost of this excursion is real. You will be navigating tourist crowds, absorbing significant afternoon sun exposure, and enduring the cross-water transit to get back to your hotel. This half-day trip provides excellent cultural value, but it is a risky expenditure of stamina if you are expected to perform at an early meeting the next morning. Travel blogs will often push extended traps, sprawling backwater boat tours, trips to Athirapilli Falls, or visits to the Hill Palace Museum. The Hill Palace is the state's largest archaeological museum. To reach the exhibits, you must climb massive, towering entrance steps set into the grounds. This chart plots logistical friction against cultural ROI. The Hill Palace and backwater tours sit in the upper right corner. They offer high cultural value, but demand maximum logistical effort. Attempting these deep commitments inside a tight corporate window is a mistake. Full-day excursions are logistically impossible on a 48-hour schedule. You should strictly reserve them for when you have dedicated extra days built into your trip. Ultimately, your available time dictates your strategy. You fall into one of two profiles, the optimizer or the bleezer traveler. The optimizer is on the ground for 48 to 72 hours. Your sole focus is executing your business objectives. If this is you, stay entirely within Ernakulam, eat the local cuisine near your hotel, and completely avoid the cross-water transit. The bleisure traveler, on the other hand, has intentionally scheduled a weekend around their corporate obligations, giving them 5 or more total days in the city. If you have that buffer, invest those extra days into Fort Kochi and the backwater tours, making sure you utilize your dedicated sun and rain preparation. Identifying your exact temporal constraints prevents you from exhausting yourself with the wrong itinerary. Trying to compress a sprawling 4-week tourist guide into a tight corporate schedule is a guaranteed way to fail at both. Kochi's climate does not forgive overexertion. The heat, the humidity, and the monsoon rains will physically punish an overly ambitious plan. Your professional energy and mental focus are your most critical resources on this trip. You have to protect them. Review your schedule and select exactly one high-reward cultural activity that fits securely within your logistical friction budget. A successful business trip to Kochi requires ruthless curation. Plan carefully, and you will leave the city with both your signed contracts and a genuine taste of Kerala's heritage.